Hello, lovely listeners. Today, I want to talk with you a little bit about excellent coaching and the kind of the why behind the coaching series or the coaching training, I should say, that we do. Um, as I mentioned on the last episode, we have monthly meetings with our coaching team. And one of our coaches made this beautiful analogy. She was saying how she struggled to explain the quality of coach that she became through our program and what was different about our program versus I think there's lots of coaching certifications out there. I've not actually looked into it, but I'm sure there's tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, that actually have no idea. And she said she felt like there were like being in a supermarket and there's loads of like ready, fast processed produce there to buy, and we're like the organic fruit. So you've got like the organic section, which is like so good for you, so nourishing, so wholesome, like actually gives you what you need. And then you've got the ready meals, the fast made, which by the way, no shade to ready meals. As a new mum, you can imagine sometimes I do go for them too. But it's kind of like it feels easier in the short term. It feels more accessible. It feels like it's going to be faster and more efficient. But actually, it leaves you maybe hungry later or snacking later. It might leave you feeling undernourished or feeling even sick, to be honest. I'm just going to go there as the extreme example. So she was asking me, how do I portray the value of this certification that is so much more than check boxes? And the fun thing that I think for me to share with you all, and this is going to be a really great listen if you're interested in becoming a coach, if you're interested in hiring a coach, if you're interested in becoming a time hacker, if you are a coach already, if you've worked with a coach already, any of these things, it's going to be really good for. Or if you're ever thinking of bringing a coach into your organization or anything like that, this episode is really helpful for you. Because what I've seen is we're in a very unique position at Time Hackers in that I started my business as the only coach, as a solopreneur, wanting to go out there and help clients. And we've evolved now to a team of coaches that work with clients globally and teams globally, offering one-to-one coaching, group coaching workshops with our own framework, our own IP. We've really made that huge jump. And what I'm seeing out in the market as I'm speaking to more organizations, more community leaders, more charities and nonprofits, is that people either tend to have been a solopreneur and then risen themselves up to like guru status where it's like it's all about Vicky and everybody wants to work with Vicky and Vicky is going to be the solver of all your problems and really elevating almost like a celebrity status of an individual coach. Or what I'm seeing is platforms that are saying we can give you access to more coaches, but actually they've not been certified with us. We're not taking real responsibility for their training. They're coming to us having checked boxes like with the training certification boards. They're coming to us having ticked boxes, having gone through training, having gone through practice number of hours. Nothing, and I think what's unique about what we do with Become a Time Hacker Coach, our program, by the way, which is opening spaces in a few months. I will say people always apply when it's not open. So we have already given a few spaces. And for that reason, I will leave the link in the show notes, but we're officially opening at the end of this month spaces and closing for a September class, by the way, and or a January class. So if you want to join either of those, you can apply now. But what I always see is, what was I saying? I've just lost my train of thought. You are seeing this live. Hello, brain. That's because I've decided to start speaking about Become a Time Coach, the program. But yes, what I was going to say, or maybe not what I was going to say, but what I will say is the big driver, the why behind I created the certification is very different to why most people create a certification. Many people create a certification because they want to make money, which is a great reason to create something. We're all in business here. But I created the certification because I wanted to trust people with my clients that I might never meet. Because the idea, as I think you guys know, that came for this certification came off the back of me being pregnant and put on bed rest and being unable to work and thinking about how can I ensure that my clients always get the best quality coaching. And I was actually speaking with someone else recently, a financial coach who's building a platform for one-to-one coaching around finance. And we had this conversation. She wanted to ask me about my training because I've built a very successful training program that makes excellent coaches. And she said, I'm thinking about the recruitment, the training. And I said to her, we need to find the right coaches. I remember her saying, and I was like, no. I don't require us to find the right coaching, because I require our training to be so good that anyone can go through it and become an excellent coach. And she was like, how can you promise that? And I said, because I made myself that promise. I made myself that requirement. Even my team were like, how many people are we hiring from Become a Time Hacker Coach? And I said, if we've done our job right, everyone that wants to be hired will have a job, because we've trained them and we want them. And that is my philosophy around training. And that is what makes us uniquely different to a lot of the other certifications out there. And I think about this applying to you too. I think so often people are making that mistake, much like this other business owner who, she gets to do her business her way, but we're outsourcing responsibility to other people, right? If I'm relying on the recruitment, I'm relying on who we attract, instead of saying, no, you can give me a blank page and I can make it into a piece of art. By the way, I will say that we do tend to attract highly skilled coaches already. Also, we do have people that have never coached before. So really it's open for everyone. We have people that want to use it for their coaching business, people that want to use it for their teams, people that just want to go deeper into the work with us because they love time hackers. They've changed their life through it. They want to be better parents, better spouses, whatever it is that they want to use it for in their own business. We have people now in Become a Time Hacker Coach that aren't actively pursuing coaching careers. They just want the skill of coaching as we teach it, because they've seen our coaches, received coaching from our coaches, and been amazed at how excellent it is. I also had a head of HR. We now have lots of organizations that we're talking to, and I had someone in the HR field let us know that the coaching they had with our coaches was different to any other coaching they'd experienced. This is someone that's had years of coaching. And this is the point, and this is what kind of my coach was trying to get at in the team meeting that we had, is she said it's very hard to convey the level of skill and expertise that we have in this room, or that I have in my own business, to someone who just thinks that they know about coaching. And that's why we're making coaching more accessible than ever, so that you can experience it for yourself. That's why we have our clients come on the podcast. That's why we have our coaches come on the podcast. That's why we've been doing more and more interviews, because I think it's our duty and our responsibility to show you what's possible for you. Yes, even if you've had coaching before and it's not been great. Yes, even if you've, had therapy before and it's not created the solutions for you. Yes, even if you've had counseling, even if you've had a journaling practice for 10 years, even if you've, picked up some great changes, whatever it might be, you are listening to this podcast for a reason. And I want to get that solution in your hands today, pronto. And that's why we are training more coaches. We are partnering with more organizations. We are saying yes to individuals we don't price it cheaper for organizations at scale. We offer the same scalable price for our individuals. So you listening right now, as I shared on last week's podcast, can get one-to-one coaching from best-in-class time hacker coaches that have gone through a rigorous 4-month training program, and then a rigorous onboarding program, a certification that requires them to do an exam to get viewed. And all of this, by the way, everything about it is built to support our coaches to become excellent coaches, because we are committed to doing it. And we do it in the easiest, most effective way. I'm going to bring on, you guys might have already heard the past episodes we did with our last round of Become a Time Hacker Coaches. We're just closing up another round, hence why we're opening another one. And I will get them on the podcast too. But if you know that you want the skill of coaching, and not just to check a box, but to become an excellent coach, then I really, really cannot say that there is a better certification out there than ours, simply because of the intention of why ours was created. Ours was not created to build a business. When I first put Become a Time Hacker Coach out there, I was expecting 2 to 3 people that I was going to train personally, that were going to coach my clients and cover for me as I stepped into motherhood. Now, what happened was 12 of our time hackers applied and went through the program and graduated. And right now we have 15 that are going through the program and graduating. And that has allowed our vision to grow. This is what I spoke about last week on the podcast. And us realizing our potential to go out there and help more people. So that's all been happening here. Needless to say, if you want to become a Time Hacker coach, we are opening it up at the end of this month for a September class or a January class. You'll get to choose as long as you're early enough in the application that spots haven't been filled, because we do keep it relatively tight. And just really emphasizing the why behind why you do things. The why behind why you do things is more valuable or more important and more impactful than what you are doing. And the why behind why we created Become a Time Hacker Coach certification is why we create the best in class coaches, is why we have the best in class coaches, is why we are able to achieve, you know, our clients' results much faster, is why we repeatedly hear from people that have been getting coaching for years that they've never had such high quality, effective coaching as they've had with our coaches. And we are committed to maintaining this as we grow. So while we are opening up space to become a Time Hacker coach, we are not opening up unlimited space. We are not looking to grow fast here. We are looking to grow quality. So I want you to just pause and use this lesson for yourselves and check in with what's your why? What's your why for what you're doing today? What's your why for maybe signing up to become a Time Hacker coach? What's your why to get one-to-one coaching? What's your why to get that thing done on your to-do list today? What's that why? What's your why? What's your why? What's your why? It's such a powerful question. What is your why? And what do you want it to be? Right? What is your why and what do you want it to be? Because I also just want to say that there's been some times, and I'm wondering if as I'm speaking, I'll think of an example. There have been some times where I've started with a why that I've not ended up with. And it's okay because I've still got there. So we don't want to not do things because we're waiting for the perfect why, but you can notice your why and ask what your why is, what your intentional why is. The intentional why, that's what I'm going to call this podcast. The intentional why. The intentional why. What do you want it to be? I love our why behind creating the program to become a Time Hacker coach was to create excellent coaches so that I trust them to coach my clients that I may never meet. And now we've had like hundreds of people get coached, hundreds of coaching sessions happen, but I've never met the client and they've achieved results faster. I always joke that my coaches are better than me now, which I think is true, because they're in the training, they're in the work, they're coaching people every single week. And that was a vision that I had. So the intentional why, I'm trying to think of like a why which wasn't intentional, which then became intentional. It could have been like, for example, my marriage. Let's just go there. And my why at some point was probably just to be like everyone else. I just wanted to be like everyone else and get married. I was lucky I didn't meet anyone in that decade. And my why when I met my now partner was more personal. It was about being with him and creating a family with him. And by the way, a family was just me and him. That was how I saw it. And so the why changed, but the result that I wanted didn't. I still wanted partnership. So yeah, just to give a very personal example, because these examples are everywhere and sometimes the personal ones are easier to access off the cuff on these podcast episodes. I hope you really like. If you do like the podcast, please do share it with someone you know. I used to ask people to do this a lot at the beginning, and it really helped us grow and reach more people. And now we are bigger. Sometimes I forget to do that, but actually it just means there's more of you listening that could help us grow and reach more people and help them achieve more faster and feel less stressed around time, less anxious. So yeah, I would love it if you would share this podcast episode or share our podcast on a social media post. And of course, if you want to find out more about becoming a Time Hacker coach, I will leave the link in the show notes. Have a wonderful rest of day, rest of afternoon, rest of evening, rest of nighttime, wherever you are, whatever time you are listening. And I will speak to you guys soon. Bye.